I've been asked to do a quick video, or maybe not so quick. We'll see how this goes. But on the calcium Hanna tester, I've had a lot of luck with these testers. The calcium one, I read a lot of bad reviews. They did redo it recently. They changed out a piece of equipment that's made it more accurate. And then I've followed some other advice and gathered up some different items that have made it even more accurate. So I want to share that with you today. We'll go through the kit pieces when we get to actually testing that. But before we get there, I want to show you a few things that I've purchased that, in addition to the kit, have really helped out. So the first thing, if you ever had a cell phone and you put a glass protector on it, a lot of times they come with this type of towel, or these are eyeglass or sunglass towels. Get one of these. Use that exclusively for cleaning your curvettes. You can actually buy these from Hanna. Bulk Reef Supply sells them, or you can get them through your local fish store and have them order them. They look exactly the same, so I'm assuming this is all they are. So that's a lot cheaper, just to save that one. Next up is the Curvette cleaning solution. It is a colorometer, so it's validating how much color it sees or how much is in the way of it being clear. And this allows you to make sure that the outside of the Curvette is as clean as possible. So I did purchase this, again, Bulk Reef Supply. You can also get it from your local store if you'll have them order it for you. Next up, you have to use deionized water. What a lot of people don't realize is our water, we use containers over and over again. We're mixing salts in there. So a lot of the times we're not testing our TDS after it's in a container. So it's not truly at zero. So you could be skewing the results with the water you're using. I purchased the Hanna bottle of water. This is lab grade water. And this seems to have really helped stabilize kind of the readings. Make sure you use this instead of the regular water. Also, they offer a Hanna standard. So you know that this is exactly what the document inside says. They give you a lab analysis of what this should read. So when you run your test, this should read in Curvette A, 0 to 5 if you want to test that one. 400 is what it should read when you test it with the full process. So you put A in first for C1, you put B in for C2. Should come back with 400 plus or minus 20. So we'll do that test here real quick just to give you kind of a quick rundown. You get 2 vials. First one is supposed to be as 0 or as clear as possible, and then the next one should read 400. So what we're going to do is take the Curvette itself, turn it on, wait for it to say add C1. What we're going to do then is take our Curvette cleaner in the cloth. I fold the cloth in half, open up this, just dab a little bit on there. That's all you really need. That's why this will last a very long time. A lot of tests can be performed. Just take and spin the Curvex. I always spin it to where the cap tightens, so that way you don't loosen it up or have any additional spillage of the sample. And then on these, you see a 10 milliliter. Make sure that's facing out towards the LCD screen or towards you if the LCD screen is towards you. Press the button. It's going to then ask you for C2, and again, this should read 400 plus or minus 20. Next up is the 400 one. Again, we'll clean that. This is going to be Curvette 2 or C2 on the reader. And you can kind of look at it, hold it up to the light if you want, and just see where. But you'll be surprised that like fingerprints really cause a lot of issue on these. Again, 10 milliliters. Have that point out towards the LCD, and we're going to press this. So we should be within 20 of 400, and it came back 414, I believe. So yeah, we're within the specifications. So we know that based on a sample provided by Hanna, the reader reads correctly. So that gives you peace of mind that you have a device that can actually be accurate and is reading something correctly. Next up, what I like to do is a lot of times these Curvettes, and the cleaners really helped with this a little bit, but they can get dirty, they can get old. So they sell Curvettes, and I like to just at least get one set of these, because what I can do is I can keep them in the box stored. I'm not sure if the camera picks that up, but there's liquid in there, so I store it with DI water inside here. I don't use the Hanna's DI, I use my own. I'm just trying to avoid any extra dried on spots on the inside, so that helps keep them clean. The next, and I use it enough so that way it's not going to get old, or the water's not going to get stale. I mean, I'm constantly testing. So next and last thing is a multi-reference. Fauna Marin actually makes this. What it allows you to do is test a lot of your different test kits. You can test calcium, magnesium, potassium, salinity, alkalinity, strontium, nitrates, phosphorus. This is really good for just validating against multiple test kits, any test kit. It gives you quite a bit of fluid. I've had this a little over a year now, and there is no expiration date on it. So if I notice it's way off, I may try to replenish it. But the one thing to keep in mind, this does have milligrams per liter, and your actual tester is parts per million. So the way to convert that, they say it's actually not a big deal because it's within the tolerance, but I like to convert it. You take your reader and times about your salinity level, so 1.026. Last time I tested with this showed 410. 422 is what this says. I converted the 410 times it by 1.026, and I end up at 420. So I was very close to what this is saying it reads. Okay, so our first item to do this test is to look through all of the things you get. So you get reagent A, which is a liquid. You're going to be using the titrator with the larger tip. They actually used to give you 2 of these, and the issue there is your sample that you actually need is very small. So this is actually too big of a syringe to pull that small of a sample. So you're going to use that just with reagent A. To pull our sample, they've given you this new lab grade titrator and tip. So with this tip, you should go to the 3rd line, and it'll stop exactly on that line if this is done properly, and that makes sure that you are providing the correct size sample. And then you have this bulb. This bulb, I use it exclusively. These are kind of handy for a lot of different things, for feeding corals, things like that, but the one that comes with it, I use it exclusively for just taking DI water out of the Hanna bottle. Nothing else touches this. And then last, you have your final reagent that you need to use. So we're going to go through a few other tips. I'm going to go ahead and pause this just so I can get set up. I may actually create a second video of the actual test. The plan is to do 2 tests that I'm going to test with Salifert. I have that test kit here as well. We're also going to test with the Triton test kit. So I'm going to send off a sample today. I'm going to pull the sample the exact same time that I'm pulling it for this test kit. So that way I can compare what Triton says compared to Salifert, compared to Hanna, and against our reference solutions that we've been using. So hopefully you guys will hang in there. We'll come back and we'll go through the test, and then we'll send this off to Triton, and then I'll do a short video on what the results are for Triton. Thank you.